Welcome back to the channel. Today there's some route announcements both with Norse Atlantic Airways and Emirates, and lastly a bit of a new era at Korean Air. And why indeed not begin there? Korean Air is beginning flights with a new aircraft type, the Airbus A350, as part of its plans to welcome Aviation Airlines into its broader business. The aircraft, specifically the A350-900 variant, has been ordered to bolster the airline's next generation and prepare for Aviation Airlines' upcoming integration. Aviation Airlines is a heavy operator of the A350-900, whereas Korean Air has up until this point never flown the type. However, moving forward and with the integration of fleets, the A350 is a type that is expected to stick around. It'll be important for the future, and therefore the airline has ordered many more jets. These A350s are to have a capacity of 311 passengers, with the airline expecting to deploy the units across a wide array of domestic and eventually international markets, with arrival of further planes. More regional and international markets. All this will be made possible with the arrival of more aircraft. Of the capacity for 311 passengers, there are 28 prestige class seats and at the back of the cabin, while space for 283 seats in standard economy class, making this a two-class layout. Korean Air says a dedicated team of veteran pilots have been assembled to operate the newly delivered A350 to ensure that operations go smoothly. Moreover, preparation for flight crews included the completion of 6 months of intensive training in Singapore, which is home to the Airbus Asia Training Centre. During this comprehensive training, instructor qualification programs were initiated. As for the routes, well, initially, Korean Air said that the aircraft would be deployed on service to Japan, with HL 8958 departing to Osaka twice a day from its home of Seoul Incheon. Meanwhile, the second flight departing will be operated by another A350-900 registered as HL 8597 from Seoul Incheon through to Fukuoka on a round-trip daily service with a view of meeting increased seasonal demand to the popular place. However, starting in March, while the airline expects to expand the list of destinations that will eventually welcome the Airbus A350, with Taipei to be added. Japan's short-distance flights, which are now underway, are really the perfect means for the airline to truly familiarize itself with the new wide-body type. Prior to this, the aircraft had been seen across more of your short-haul domestic services for further crew familiarization. International routes, don't worry, are expected to launch eventually. The A350 will serve Madrid and Rome as its first two destinations outside of Asia. These are expected to launch in the second half of the 2025 calendar year, a lot permitting on the arrival of upcoming units, and these actually taking place on time. Korean Air is very excited about the A350's potential for its business moving forward, especially given the upcoming, again I'll reiterate, integration of Aviation Airlines, who when we see these fleets come together, will have the A350s at Korean Air. While the 350-900 is present, something to also consider is the eventual arrival of the high-capacity A350-1000 jets, which have also been ordered by the South Korean company to complement their Dash 900 model and add essential capacity wherever necessary. Over to Emirates, who have announced several changes to its route schedule in the coming months as part of expansion and also route renewal efforts. From the 1st of April 2025, the Dubai-based carrier will offer a second daily service to Beirut with non-stop service to take off as EK957, returning as EK958. The airline scaling up this service will be made possible thanks to the popular Boeing 777-300ER, which features 3 passenger classes. Emirates has announced that on the 1st of February, meanwhile, Beirut will be more importantly reinstated to eventually make this second daily flight possible only just a few months later. Other noteworthy changes include from the 1st of February 2025, the restoration of service to Baghdad, with a daily flight to be offered between the home and Baghdad on a Boeing 777. EK941 will depart Dubai at 8:05 in the morning with an arrival into Baghdad at 9:50, the return leg operating as EK942, an 11:25 departure in the morning and a 2:35 p.m. arrival back into the airline's home. Interestingly, the departure and arrival time for this daily operation, however, however, will change. The aforementioned flight times that I've taken a look at just before are for Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday's service. On those remaining days of the week, there will be adjustments by several hours. For example, the departure from Dubai will now be at 1 p.m, and by the time all the other flights take place, the arrival back into Dubai will be at 7:10 p.m. For Emirates, well, the upcoming arrival of the A350, which just recently entered operations, will finally give the network a little bit of flexibility and make route relaunches and service upgauges, such as what I'm discussing with you today, all the more possible. In recent times, the carrier has operated a business with just 2 fleet types. While this has certainly proven to be successful, it has limited the airline's overall flexibility, whereas the arrival of the A350, it does dramatically change that for the better, allowing for new route launches and just a lot more fun on the route network, maybe without as much pressure as what we have seen take place in recent years. It is why the airline is so excited about the arrival of this aircraft. Over to the final story, Norse Atlantic Airways has confirmed the upcoming launch of a new service between Athens and Los Angeles. The upcoming route launch will commence on the 3rd of June 2025 and will be offered 4 times a week. Moreover, the route will substantially increase the airline's existing transatlantic market, which sees excellent coverage from several European destinations into the United States and beyond. Unsurprisingly, and you probably don't need me to tell you this, but if you didn't know, Norse will be using its 787 Dreamliner. This is the only fleet type in the business after the company launched, you may recall, following Norwegian ceasing its own wide-body operations. The airline says it's thrilled to be offering this flight in time for the summer and is looking to deploy affordable fares to the US market, especially during peak demand periods of the calendar year. Furthermore, Norse says this aligns with its business model, which is to make travel more accessible and affordable for all. They say committing to launching new routes is essential to showing this to their current and prospective customer base. As for Norse Atlantic Airways, well, they haven't had it easy now, have they? They have struggled to achieve a persistent, robust operation, which is arguably still trying to be achieved to this day. The airline does know one thing, and that is low-cost flights across long-haul markets, primarily when you are focusing on transatlantic missions, can be notoriously challenging. They would not be the only airline to be feeling something similar, and I'd argue for the long haul won't be the only ones either too. Most airlines that have attempted this model have either collapsed, have been forced to scale back their business, or found themselves unable to see a year-round solid performance, which is obviously concerning as most airlines will want positive results year-round, and if they can't attain that, well, they're almost working towards an inevitable. Norse does rely on peak seasonal demand in its market, and one of those biggest challenges has been finding ways to make this a 12-month success. The company needs to ensure revenue continues and has already been trying to make moves to do this. Some initiatives have included the leasing out of aircraft, launching services to warm weather destinations during the cold months, which has really involved a major network reshuffle, but there have been other persistent business changes too. I'd love to hear your take on the new route from Athens to Los Angeles. That'll conclude today's aviation industry recap. Thank you very much for your support here on the channel. Take care, do be safe, and I'll see you next time for your next video.
And we'll fly.